Kansas City Chiefs came so close to going back-to-back. Lost in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes under pressure, but they revamped that offensive line. They are the favorites to win the Super Bowl this season at 5-1. Minus 320 to win the division. And Mahomes, that's the same number as for the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. Plus 500 to win MVP. Let's break down the Chiefs with Ryan Wilson and Sportsline's Emory Hunt. Emory, Patrick Mahomes favored to win the MVP. I think this is the third straight season he's been the preseason favorite to win it, but he hasn't won that since he won the MVP award a couple of years ago. Do you like that at plus 500?
I don't, because I don't know much about the offensive line. Yes, there's some good news coming out of training camp with the rookies that they've added, but until I see them out there on the field in games that count, I can't trust them to do what they need to do to allow Patrick Mahomes to throw 50-plus touchdowns in the 17-game season. So I would stay away from that odd for Patrick Mahomes.
Emory, I appreciate your honesty. Nope, I don't love it. Actually, I do sort of like it, however. I think plus 500 is obviously he's the favorite, which makes sense because it's Patrick Mahomes. The only concern, I talked about this last segment, I'm more concerned about Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady as the old-timers having something to prove, Aaron Rodgers especially. But I think Patrick Mahomes, with the playmakers around him, with Andy Reid calling plays, you're exactly right about the offense. We'll see how that sorts itself out. But the defense should even be better. And I don't think there's going to be a ton of competition in terms of wins and losses in that division. And we know that Patrick Mahomes can sling it no matter what, the weather or the conditions. So I like him at plus 500.
One of those playmakers, Tyreek Hill. Let's talk season player props. Hill, 1,350.5 receiving yards this season. Ryan, you going over or under 1,350?
That's a ton of yards, Chris, but I'm going over, in part because Tyreek Hill is one of Patrick Mahomes' favorite targets after Travis Kelce, and in part because as good as this offense is, as explosive as they are, there aren't a lot of big-name wide receivers next to Tyreek Hill. There's Mecole Hardman, there's Demarcus Robinson, there's Byron Pringle, but those guys are all playing second through fourth fiddle to Tyreek Hill at 1 and Travis Kelce at 1A. So I think there's a real chance for him to go over this number. He had 1,200 yards last year in 15 games. He had 1,400 yards 2 years ago. I think he gets over this number with the additional games they're going to play this year.
I'm going to go under just a little bit because I do feel like 1,300 will be the magic number for him. And I think he'll split somewhere in between with Travis Kelce and maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So I think they'll find a third option in the passing game. I wish there was a prop for him to go over or lead the league in yards per catch, because I think that number is going to be well over 27.5 because how dynamic he is going deep down the field. But I do think his yardage will get eaten up by both Kelce and Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
He's only gone over 1,350 once in his career. That was in 2018, but our fantasy projections have him over that. Again, an added game this season with that 17th game. Chiefs, 6-point favorites opening the season at home against the Browns. Rematch of that great divisional round matchup. The over-under is 53, Ryan.
I'm actually going with the Browns here to cover. I don't think the Browns are going to win the game, but I think they cover this, and I sort of like the under. And Emory talked about this last segment. Week 1 is basically week 4 of the preseason now, so there may be some kinks to iron out. But I'm also pretty bullish on the Browns, which seems like a weird thing to say at any point, never mind the beginning of a season. But I think they're going to be a pretty good football team and give the Chiefs probably more than they bargained for in recent years. That doesn't mean the Chiefs won't win. That doesn't mean that Patrick Mahomes won't look a lot like the guy we've seen. I just think the Browns do something they haven't done in recent years and play quality football from start to finish to start the season.
I know, man. You gotta let me know if Chad Henne playing. Then you gotta go with the, because the Browns can't handle Chad Henne. But I'm going with the Browns in the point for this particular reason. The Browns are better than Kansas City up front on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Their defensive line is going to be outstanding, knock on wood, if we get a full season out of Jadeveon Clowney. So they're better up front defensively. On offense, we know they have one of the best offensive lines in the AFC, so they can control the line of scrimmage, and that's why they gave Kansas City a lot of problems in that playoff game. Had they had one more playmaker, i.e. an Odell Beckham Jr., maybe they knock off Kansas City. So I do think this will be a close game. I'm going under and taking the Browns in the points.
Both going under and the Browns with the points. How about the Kansas City win total this season, Ryan? It's set at 12, the highest in the league.
Yeah, it's high. It feels high. You read it, go, oh my God, 12 games. Who's going to win 12 games? I'm going over. And I went through the schedule. I came up with 13. And it could be anywhere between 12 and 15, of course. And we have an extra game to play this year. And there'll be some tough stretches, and they have to play some of the division games. The Chargers come to mind. The Raiders typically play them tough from time to time. We don't know what the Broncos situation is at quarterback, but we may find out soon. But again, this is the Chiefs. They have the best player in the league. They have one of the best coaches in the league. They have complementary playmakers. I feel like that going over that 12 is going to happen, and I like 13 is sort of the floor.
Yeah, I'm going over as well. They have a lot going for them in a positive direction. Ryan touched on a great coaching staff, great quarterback, great weapons, continuity. The helmets look good in the sunshine. So all of those things going for them. Take that over number, win like 14 games this year.
How much is that worth for you, Amanda? The helmet's looking good in the sun. That's a win and a half, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean, maybe the other team will get a glare or something like that off of them, but they sparkle. They sparkle.
How about for the season? They are plus 500 to win the Super Bowl, Ryan, plus 250 to win the AFC.
Look, the division, it's minus money, and I guess you could put some money on that. But if you're going to try to make a little money, I think a little plus 500 on the Super Bowl makes the most sense. You just said it a moment ago. They were this close to winning back-to-back Super Bowls. They're the same team, arguably a little better last season. I mean, during the Super Bowl last year, the offensive line was an issue. So, again, as Emory has noted, they have to shore that up. But, look, put plus 500 on Patrick Mahomes, win the MVP, another plus 500 on the Super Bowl, and you got something cooking there when it pays out. You feel pretty good about yourself.
Exactly. That's why I'm going with the Super Bowl and the AFC, because they have one of the best players at the position in the NFL. And when you have great quarterback play, you're going to always be on a plus side of the scoreboard at the end. So that definitely is where the Chiefs are headed this year.
All right, Emory Hunt and Ryan Wilson loving on the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, get back and win it this time for the second time in 3 years. Fellas, we'll be talking to you in just a moment once again as we continue our betting breakdowns of the best teams in the NFL. Here are your notable Week 1 games. The Buccaneers open with the Cowboys. That's that Thursday game. The Chiefs open with the Browns. If you could watch one game and one game only, Amanda Guerra, which one would it be Week 1?
Browns Chiefs.
Okay, thank you. Why does it always have to be so hard with you? Browns Chiefs is the one she's watching. It's on CBS, a company gal.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.